latest set of results obviously is quite pleasing to us in the sense that they were a lot better than the results of the previous comparable 6 months. As you pointed out, if you compare them actually to the 6 months just before, they were actually slightly worse. We do believe that that is a seasonal effect because we've seen it now for 3 years in a row. So we normally have a fairly low first half and then followed by a much stronger second half. All indicators are at the moment that we will have that same effect happening. I just can never predict it on the commercial side. On the defense side, we can see that we already got an order book that will equal it, and very likely that further orders and so forth will improve on the previous half. We've also seen two of the other arms going from loss-making situations to profit-making situations. So things look good for a better second half as we get typically year on year. If you look at our cash generation, that's why we try to emphasize the EBITDA performance of the company. Unfortunately for us at the moment, we've got a fairly large amount of amortization of intangible assets that happens on a yearly basis. That's because of assets that were amortized, intangible research and development in earlier years. We're now taking a much more conservative view on that, so we don't amortize much. We still amortize some of our R&D, but much more, we still capitalize some part of our R&D, but we amortize a much larger chunk of it. So, for example, in this 6-month period, there's 3 million net, if you subtract the two from each other, that we take as a loss through the books. You can also see there where the tangible assets are increasing considerably compared to the total assets, because what you're effectively doing, you're swapping intangible for tangible assets in that process. And if you look at the EBITDA level, we did about 5.8 cents per share in the last 6 months, and you could look at a comparable period that was also EBITDA of about 2.7 cents per share. So about 115% improvement on EBITDA level, which I think is the fair indicator of company performance. And then if you look at cash generation, we're quite proud of it because that we can actually feel. It's about 6.6 million of cash that was generated in the 6 months. And that certainly indicates that that EBITDA is most probably telling a much closer to the truth story than what we see in the actual bottom line results. At the moment, for example, even the taxes are just deferred tax provisions, so we don't see a real cash effect from them yet. We will soon enough, as soon as we get back into a full-on cash tax-paying situation. So those parts really gives a lot of confidence, and it's improved our cash flow tremendously. It's the first time virtually since the company was listed that we feel a lot more comfortable with the cash position of the company, a bit of a cushion behind us and a lot more comfort in that respect.